Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I begin by acknowledging the tradition, honor of the land on which we are gathering today. I pay my respect to past, present, and emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for official party and VIP guests to enter and come to the stage. I hope the VIP know where to sit. Ladies and gentlemen, music please. We have Grandparent MP, we have Melody Cheng coming, we have Edward Lee, we have Councillor Stephen Wan, we have Councillor Kim Marks, we have Surrender Present Oe, we have Alan Cheng, we have Ahmad Khan, we have Tina Lei, we have Winnie Rain, we have Louis Mello, we have Robert Makaboju, and Sohir Abaji. Looks like they know where to sit, okay. Stephen, please. Please be seated. Please take a seat. Music is not synchronized, by the way, because we haven't practiced. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Australian Citizenship Ceremony to celebrate Queensland Day. This year marks the 70th year since the concept of the Australian citizen was introduced our law in the Nationality and Citizenship Act 1948. My name is Louis Lee. I'm the MC for today. I'm a volunteer organizer. This is the 22nd Australian Citizenship Ceremony hosted by WAMCI and Multicultural Citizenship Team. For your information, the ladies and gents are on my right. If there's a fire, please follow the exit sign. Appreciate if you can switch off your mobile phone or switch to a silent mode. This ceremony is proudly supported by Lord Mayor Suburban Initiative Fund and Councillor Stephen Wan. Thank you, Stephen. Where is Stephen? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge our distinguished guest, Mr. Grandparent MP. Let me go through one by one. This is Mr. Grandparent, the presiding officer, the federal member for Moreton. Can I acknowledge Melody Cheng? Is the host, the Life Honorary President of War Arts and Multicultural Incorporated. That is Edward Lee, the co-host, the President of War Arts and Multicultural Incorporated. That is Councillor Stephen Wan, Councillor for McGregor Award. That is Councillor Kim Marks. Where is she here? Okay, I wait for that. Is Councillor Kim Marks at the back, the Councillor for Rangoon Ward. She is running late, but it's all right, just on time. Then we have David Thomas, the General Manager for Robertson Garden. Please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Councillor Kim Marks, Councillor for Rangoon Ward, over here, this side. This side, please. That is Surrender Present. He's the President of the Australian of the Indian War Memorial Committee, also the President of the Fijian Senior Citizen of Queensland. That is Winnie Rain, the President of the Australian China International Cultural Education Association Incorporated. That is Robert Makaboju, the President of African Profession Association of Queensland. But this is Alan Cheng. Alan Cheng is the honorary sponsor for the Australian of the Chinese War Memorial Committee. That is Louis Mello. Louis Mello is the Australian German Community Center. That is Sohir Abaji from the Iowa, which is Islamic Women Association Australia, having around for 23 years. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I also acknowledge all the citizenship team, the War Arts and Multicultural, and also the volunteer. Last of all, I would like to acknowledge all the 67 candidates, soon to be citizens from 16 different countries and their guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our presiding officer, Mr. Grandparent, the federal member for Moreton. Mr. Grandparent, please.
Thank you very much. Lewis, is it?
That's right.
Lewis. Thank you, Lewis. My name's nice to meet you, Lewis. I say that because Lewis and I have been doing this for how many ceremonies now, Lewis? 20. Nearly 40. And as Kim Marks and Stephen Wan, the councillors, would know, I make the same jokes every time. At least Lewis laughs. I think Kim and Stephen are getting a bit old. A bit sick of these jokes. But could I also begin by acknowledging the traditional owners and thank them for their strong and continuing stewardship. And thank you to Edward and Melody, and more importantly to all of the volunteers that have made today possible. It does not happen easily. To all of the community leaders who have been acknowledged by the world's best MC, Lewis Lee, and particularly to all of the candidates. Obviously, 67 new candidates from 16 different places all around the globe. Thank you very much for coming along. Today is a wonderful part of my duties as a federal member of parliament, and I'm sure that Kim and Stephen would agree it's the best part of our job. It's seeing people come together. Sometimes people come to Australia because of love, sometimes for economic opportunity, sometimes because of horrible situations in their country of origin. So whatever the story, whatever the reason to come to Australia, after today you will feel different about this place. After today you will be a part of a large family, a family that stretches back 15,000 generations, a family that has the oldest words in the world belong to this continent, the place that you will call home. The oldest pictures in the world are in this country, on this continent. So thank you for coming along. And obviously the part of this ceremony that is the legal part is one you need to pay close attention to. I think, is that it, Lewis? Oh, this bit. Oh, okay. Okay, this is an important part as well. Today you become an Australian citizen. We are immensely proud of what we have achieved as a nation, and we welcome you in joining us. Our history and culture has been forged over thousands of years, first through Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and more recently with people from all corners of the earth. Australia has succeeded as a nation by embracing and defending our national values. We believe in freedom, in the rule of law, in democracy. We believe that all people are equal, regardless of their cultural background, gender, race, or religion. We are a resilient nation. We have overcome world wars, depression, drought, and flood. We stand with other strong democracies in helping to defend and protect hard-fought freedoms. By committing yourself to Australia today, you have chosen to embrace our nation and its values. Like so many millions of people throughout our history, you have decided to take on the rights and responsibilities of Australian citizenship. On behalf of the Australian Government, I congratulate you on reaching this very special day. It's now your responsibility to join all of us in building an even stronger nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Carroll. That is the welcome message. In fact, that is not a minister message, because the Minister for Immigration and Migrant Services and Citizen and also the Multicultural aware that the Coleman just been installed last Wednesday. So the paperwork is not ready yet. So that is what we call welcome message from the Department of Home Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask Ms. Melody Chen, the host, the World Arts Live Honorary President of World Arts Multicultural, to deliver her speech. Ladies and gentlemen, Melody Chen.
Thank you, Minister. Today we have 67 new candidates from 16 different countries becoming Australian citizens. We are very honored to host the citizenship ceremony under the guidance of MC Louis Lee, OAM, volunteer, organizer, and also life honorary advisor, World Arts and Multicultural Incorporation. Australia is a wonderful country, rich in culture, harmony, and diversity. Your Australian citizenship is about making a contribution. I cherish this great honor of being able to be part of assisting with this important step in a new life. Once again, congratulations to the candidates who will be the new Australian citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Melody Chen. This is the 22nd time the host, Melody Chen, had delivered the welcome message. Ladies and gentlemen, next speaker is Councillor Stephen Huang, the Councillor for McGregor Ward. This ceremony is also supported by Lord Mayor Suburban Initiative Fund from Councillor Kim. Councillor Stephen Huang, please.
Thank you, Louis. May I also start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather and pay my respect to elders, both past and present. And may I start by congratulating the 67 new citizens today. I would like to welcome you to be part of the Australian family. To become a member of this family, you have the full right and responsibility of this big family we call Australia. But can I say, now you are the one who's going to decide and share the destiny of this great country. So you have to make decisions in deciding where this country is heading to. And I would like to encourage all of you to participate actively in this society, whether you help in school PNCs or in other voluntary organizations like Lions or Rotary or, of course, World Arts and Multicultural. But I would just like to end by quoting the former US President, J.F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. It is now your responsibility and opportunity to make Australia great. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Councillor Stephen Huang, Councillor for McGregor Ward. Next is Councillor Kim Mars, Councillor for Runcorn Ward. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Councillor Kim Mars.
Thank you very much, Lewis. As always, it's an absolute honour and pleasure to be here as part of the ceremony. It's such a special day in everybody's lives that's here today. I've gone through this ceremony myself some 30 odd years ago, so I know how special it can be. Part of the best part of being becoming an Australian, and particularly living here in Brisbane, is the multicultural that we encourage and love to have here as part of our community. And as a result of the fact that we do acknowledge what everybody brings to our country, part of that is the acknowledgement to country that we all do, which is where we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and the elders, both past, present and emerging. I just want to say it's absolutely wonderful for your day to be here today, be part of it. I know that you're going to love being Australian. I know you love going to be here in Brisbane particularly. And I know that you will enjoy the 5 things that Graham Perry has to say later on. So you need to listen very carefully to them, because I know them off by heart. I could say them, but I won't steal his thunder. So and wait for that part of the ceremony. It's pretty good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Stephen Huang. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special guest speaker, Surendra Prasad, the President of the Australian of the Indian War Memorial Committee of the Sunnybank RSL. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Surendra Prasad.
Thank you, Louis. MC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and children. I also like to acknowledge the traditions of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from whose land we are gathered here today. I pay my respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. And also acknowledge elders from other countries who have now chosen Australia home. It might interest you to know that there are 2 war memorial monuments at Veterans Memorial Garden at Sunnybank RSL, St. Brian. One is Chinese Australian War Memorial, and the other one is Indian of the Australian War Memorial. Both memorials are the first Chinese Australian and Indian Australian War Memorial constructed at RSL compound in Australia. I am the chairman of the Indian Heritage War Memorial Committee, and our good friend MC Lewis Lee, OAM, is the chairman of the Chinese Heritage War Memorial Committee. We always work together by sharing ideas and information on various other community projects. Both projects are to honor the past and present involvement of Chinese Australian and Indian Australian in the Australian Defence Forces who served in defence of Australia and made the supreme sacrifice. We also have memorial bursaries in the local schools named in honor of Chinese Australian and Indian Australians in the Australian Defence Force. We should support our inclusive community with people from all walks of life and from all diverse communities. You all should be proud being an Australian citizen and proud of your own heritage, and hence always keep the traditions and rich culture alive at all times. It is our diversity that makes us a strong, harmonious, peaceful, and successful nation we live in. We value freedom and expect all Australians to treat one another with dignity and respect, regardless of their race, country of origin, genders, marital status, age, disability, heritage, culture, politics, wealth, or religion. We value this mutual respect for the dignity of all peoples. We are proud to live in a peaceful country with a stable system of governance. We wish you all every success in becoming an Australian citizen today and to pursuing a peaceful and productive life in Australia. Thank you.
Thank you, the President of the Australian Indian War Memorial in the Sunnybank area. He's also the President of the Fijian Senior Citizen of Queensland Association. Ladies and gentlemen, now comes the important part. We ask the presiding officer, Mr. Graham Parrott, to administrate the pledge and also do the preamble. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Graham Parrott, MP.
Thank you, Lewis. And could I also thank the previous three speakers, Councillors Stephen Wong, Ken Marks, and Surendra. Thank you for that. And it's great to have been involved in those two wonderful projects. Ladies and gentlemen, this week I had to send a letter to the President of Indonesia. I did that. It's not something I would normally do as a Member of Parliament, but today I sent a letter to the President asking for the pardon for a citizen whose parents live in my electorate. He's a young man, I suppose, I'd still say a young man, called Scott Rush, who 14 years ago was arrested smuggling drugs and has been in a jail in Indonesia ever since. Now you might think, well, why would I send a letter to the President? Well, the President has just been elected for the second time, and I thought this would be a good time to seek a pardon. Now, the reason I'm writing that letter is because his parents live in my electorate, so I look after any federal immigration issues in my area. Councillor Wong and Councillor Marks, other councillors will look after local government issues. We don't have any state government representatives here today, so I think we can say that we don't really know what they do we, Kim and Stephen? But
they're telling that I'm having coffee.
They do something in that. Obviously, they look after education and police and things like that. But you've got three levels of government, and immigration and foreign relations is one that the federal government looks after. So I wrote this letter to the President seeking a pardon. The reason I did something a bit strange. In the letter, I enclosed two photographs of my son. And the reason I did that is because my son was born on the very day that Scott Rush was arrested. So when my son was born, I could hold him in my hand. And I have a photograph of holding him in my hand on that day. And now my son is almost taller than me, if not taller than me. So in that time, in the 14 years that Scott Rush has been in jail, my son has lived all of his life and is becoming a young man. I wanted to make the point to the President that it is time for someone who has done a crime, to maybe be pardoned. Because I remember how much I loved my son the day he was born. I could not, it took a long time for my wife and I to have children, and when my son was born, I loved him so much. I could not believe how much I loved my son Stanley. And then about four years after that, my second son was born. And I thought of how much love I had for my first son, and I thought, well, I can't have any more love to give to my second son. But of course, if you're a parent, you know what happened. I have just as much love for my second son. And today, we're not asking you to stop loving the country you come from. That will always be a big part of your heart, your life. But after today, you will find a new love as well. Like my second son, I will love him just as much. You will love the country that you're going to become a part of today. But there is a formal part of this ceremony, a legal part of the ceremony that is conducted in accordance with the Australian Citizenship Act 2007. And so I'm going to read the preamble. And it begins, Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia. And Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic beliefs, by respecting their rights and liberties, and by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. So I'll now ask all of those conferees who are making pledge number 1, which is the pledge containing the words "under God." Could you please stand? This is pledge number 1, and if you wish to make the pledge on your holy book, please hold that in your hands now. And please repeat this pledge line by line after me. From this time forward, under God.
From this time forward, under God.
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people.
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people.
Whose democratic beliefs I share.
Whose democratic beliefs I share.
Whose rights and liberties I respect.
Whose rights and liberties I respect.
And whose laws I will uphold and obey.
And whose laws I will uphold and obey.
Thank you. Please be seated. I now ask those conferees who are making pledge number 2, to stand as well, please. There is no pledge number 3, so make sure you're up if you wish to become an Australian citizen. Please repeat after me. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and liberties I respect. And whose laws I will uphold and obey. The people that made pledge number 1, please stand as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome our new Australians. There you go, that wasn't hard, was it? All right, please be seated.
Thank you, Mr. Parrott. Now is the presentation calling of the candidates. It will be a bit messy for the first few, but after that, can I ask John Prescott to call the candidates or the new citizens? Mr. John Prescott here, over here. The photo section I mentioned earlier will be taking place just one, and you have to walk into Anti-Crowa, which I mentioned earlier, Anti-Crowa, and take a seat. Please, quiet, take it easy. Ladies and gentlemen, John Prescott, please.
louder, please. John, louder, please. Thank you.
Ready?
Not here. Next.
Diana, Patricia. Can everyone get ready?
Ready? Annie, 我在等你。Ready?
Mr. Oh Young Hu, get ready.
cut the noise down a little bit, please. John, mention that.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Councillor Kim Mark said, presiding officer will give you 5 pieces of advice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Parrott to give the 5 pieces of advice.
Thank you very much, Lewis. And as I said earlier in my remarks, there are 3 levels of government in Australia: the local government, state government, and federal government. The local government will be the next elections that you will be, you must participate in. You must participate in. You must vote or face a fine. The reason I say that is because that's an official, that's a legal requirement of being an Australian citizen. The 5 things I'm going to read out now are not official. Okay? I would like to make them official. I think Surendra Prasad would agree that they should be official, but they are not. So these are my 5 tips, I guess, for becoming a good Australian citizen. And the first tip is for you to find an Aboriginal word that you can use, especially when you're talking to people in your country of origin. So I'm going to give you one word that I have used all my life, which is a Gamilaroi word, which is from my home country in Western Queensland. The Gamilaroi tribe's a big group, a big mob. Their word for cold is Gurrugal. Now we don't often have to use the word Gurrugal in Brisbane, but it is Gurrugal the last 2 days. Brisbane cold anyway. So Gurrugal. So your job is to find an Aboriginal word. And as I said, it's the oldest language on earth. Stretching back 3,000, 4,000 generations, the oldest word on earth is an Aboriginal word. So you need to find an Aboriginal word that you can use to describe something in your life. Number 2 is for you to share a meal with your neighbours. Either at your place, their place, a park, a restaurant, but share a meal where you are able to bond over food, because nothing makes for a stronger community than knowing your neighbours and breaking bread with them. Or, symbolically, whatever it is, meal that you share. That is a recommendation I have. Number 3 is to find a piece of Australian literature that speaks to you. It could be a poem written 200 years ago, could be a novel written 100 years ago, it could be a poem written 6 months ago. But find some Australian literature that you're able to refer to. Some Australian voices, whether it be from Uturu Nunukul, who's an Aboriginal poet from around the Brisbane region, who wrote in the 60s and 70s some great poems that you could track down. Also previously known as Kath Walker. But find some words, Australian words of literature. Number 4, and this is where you might have to talk to your counsellors, perhaps, is to find an Australian plant. Find some Australian dirt. You can go up into Toohey Forest, up near Griffith University, just up the hill, and crush it into your hand, because after today it will smell different. It will smell different in your hand. So get some dirt, get some gum leaves and rub them into your skin today, or find a plant if you have a home, get a native plant from your local counsellors and plant it in your garden from today. If you're renting, maybe check with your landlord, what you plant. Okay, now the 5th tip is particularly important, because if you like cricket, you'll know that the World Cup has just started. So what I'm going to say is very, very important. you need to find an Australian team that you can make your number one team. Now, the current number one ranked team in the World Cup is England. So if you're from England, you might want to keep England as your number one cricket team. I understand that. Okay? But so that might mean you have to switch to netball and make the Australian netball team your number one team. All right? So it doesn't matter where you come from, you've still got to find an Australian team to make your number one team. And obviously, if you ever make Australia your number 3 team, that is when we can deport you to another country. All right, so be very, very careful if you ever make Australia your number 3 team. Okay. My 5 tips for being a good Australian. I hope you follow them, and I hope you have a wonderful, happy career and life in Australia. It's great to be your presiding officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham Parrott MP. Ladies and gentlemen, next is the affirmation ceremony. It's conducted by Mr. John Chen, the Vice President of WAMCI and Multicultural Incorporated. John Chen has conducted, this is the 22nd time of the Australian affirmation ceremony conducted by John Chen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Chen, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Sing after me.
Affirmation ceremony.
It's
not singing of the national anthem.
You just introduced that I have sing 22 times.
Affirmation.
All right, now is the affirmation ceremony, not the.
It's okay, you stand up.
Yeah, you still have to stand up. Okay? Now that we have witnessed the pledge of commitment made by our new citizens, I would like to invite everyone to participate in an Australian citizenship affirmation ceremony. The Australian Citizens Affirmation Ceremony is based on a pledge that our new citizens have just made. Participation is in the Australian Citizen Affirmation is voluntary and it carries no legal status. The affirmation was introduced in 1999 as part of the 5th anniversary ceremony of Australian citizenship, as a way for people who were born as Australian citizens to be able to make a public pledge of commitment. Those who are not Australian citizens but feel a strong connection to Australia is also welcome to participate. Just join in from the second line. If you would like to take a part, please stand up. Are you ready? And repeat each line after me. In the words can be found on the affirmation card you received. Okay? As an Australian citizen, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberty I respect, and whose laws I uphold and obey. Thank you very much. Please be seated.
Thank you. I think John Chen say I made a mistake. I asked you to conduct an affirmation ceremony, not the singing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, now I ask you to do the singing of the national anthem. Can I welcome John Chen and Jacqueline Lee to lead the national anthem? Please stand. Music, please.
Can I please? Australia, Lord, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wells for corn, our home was spread by sea. Our land above this nature's gift of beauty rich and rare. In His reflection every stage and blessed Australia friend. Enjoy for strength and let us sing. Advance Australia friend. Beneath the mountains of the cross, where fly with hearts and hands, to make his commonwealth return of all the land. All those who come across the sea, with boundless faith to share, with courage and the soul abide, to advance Australia fair. Enjoy for strength and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't finished yet. Please quiet down a little bit. We need the certificate of appreciation to be ready. Can I have the appreciation? Can I have volunteer? Where's the volunteer? Please. The certificate of appreciation, we have three presentation. Can I have Melody Cheng? Can I have Evan Lee? Can I have Tom Cheng? Can I have all the vice president Richard Wang? Please. Can I have person Melody Cheng to our presiding officer, Mr. Terry? Richard Wang. Oh, next one, okay.
Okay, ready?
Thank you. Thank you, Louis. Winnie Rand, the president of the Australian China International Cultural Education Association, or ASICA. Did I get it right? Thank you. Next. Robert,
volunteer. No one has clothes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to offer for thanks to each and every one of you. I would like to thank Mr. Graham Parrott, the presiding officer, and thank his staff for the assistant preparation of the ceremony and printing of the program and certificate appreciation. Looks like you have to print another one for David Thomas, Mr. Parrott, and also other documents. Thanks, Councillor Stephen Wan, for your Lord Mayor Suburban Initiative Fund. Appreciate it. Councillor Stephen Wan, the Councillor for McGregor Ward. Thanks, Robertson Garden, for providing the venue. We have a special magnificent service from David Thomas, Amanda Goski, and the team provide these wonderful services. Thank you very much, David. Thanks to our elected representative and VIP for your speeches, guidance, and attendance. Needless to say, without the support and involvement of Jessica Coleman, it's not David Coleman related, by the way, just Jessica Coleman and the team from the Department of Home Affairs, this event would not be possible. A big thank you to them. Now, I would like to thank all the WMICI citizenship team, all arts and multicultural. Where are they? All the volunteers, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. These are all the, please raise your hand. These are all the volunteers who have done an outstanding contribution in registration, archer duty, delivery of speeches, singing of the national anthem, conducting of, we are mistaken by affirmation ceremony and the national anthem, but anyway, I think I'm right. If you check the video, anyway, just joking. For your national anthem, photography, and so on. But last but not least, very special thanks to all the new citizens and relatives and friends for attending the ceremony. This concludes today's ceremony on behalf of the Australian government and All Arts and Multicultural Incorporated. I would like to congratulate you all again and wish you and the family a happy and successful future as the citizen of Australia. Please join us for a group photo with the official and VIP guests. Thank you. I think I did it before 11. Thank you very much.
First, I will take the formal shots. All group in here. So please stay still. And rest your leg in here.
So first, raise your, no raising the flag.
Yeah.
Just raising your flag now.
Yeah.
Okay, don't wait.
Stay still.
Stay still.
One more. Okay, then wave.
And wave.
And yeah.
And yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, sincere thanks, and again, I give an offer of thanks to each and everyone for your attendance and support. Thank you very much. I will see you around. By the way, you can still have a photograph with the official party. By all means, thank you.